Hello and welcome. Our top story today is from Cameroon. The Central African nation is witnessing post-poll tensions. Protests have erupted in Cameroon's capital of Yaoundé and other cities as 92-year-old President Paul Biya has been declared the provisional winner of the 12th of October elections. This despite opposition candidate Issa Tchiroma claiming victory for the past week. According to provisional results released by the National Vote Counting Commission, Biya secured over 53% of the votes, ahead of his main rival who garnered about 35%. The Constitutional Council is expected to publish the official results by the 26th of October. If confirmed, the outcome would see Paul Biya extend his 43-year rule at the helm of Cameroon. At 92, Biya is the world's oldest head of state and one of Africa's longest-serving leaders. He has been ruling the oil and cocoa-producing nation since 1982. A win for an 8th term could keep him in power until he is nearly 100 years old. Sporadic protests have broken out nationwide following unverified tallies circulating on social media suggesting Biya's re-election. Now, opposition supporters have rallied in the capital and in several major cities, leading to clashes with security forces who fired tear gas to disperse crowds. Authorities say that more than 20 people have been arrested during the demonstrations. Now, Biya's ally-turned-rival, Issa Tchiroma, warned last week that any other outcome could plunge the country into unrest, raising fears that the disputed election could stoke wider instability. Cameroon continues to face deep-rooted democratic challenges under President Biya. Elections are often marred by fraud allegations, intimidation, and a lack of transparency. Opposition parties and the press operate under strict limitations. With over 60% of Cameroon's population under the age of 25, Biya remains deeply disconnected from the youth, widening the generational gap between the leadership and the public. Age and health have also become central issues in Biya's rule. He rarely appears in public, sparking speculation about his fitness to govern. His frequent trips abroad, often for medical treatment or stays at luxury hotels in Geneva, have drawn criticism for misusing public funds. Despite rumors about his fragile health and long absences, Biya has managed to hold on to power, surviving waves of social unrest, economic disparity, and separatist violence. But now, as he stands poised to begin an 8th term, tensions are mounting over what many see as a test of Cameroon's democratic future. Now, for more on this, we have with us Ms. Beverly Ochieng, who is a senior analyst at Control Risk. Thank you for being with us, as always, Beverly.
Thank you for having me, Alyson.
Now, given that Paul Biya has been declared the provisional winner with just over 53% of the vote, how credible are these results in the context of the past elections in Cameroon, and what mechanisms exist to ensure transparency in this process?
Well, because the Biya camp has always had such high levels of institutional influence, it is being used by the opponents, Tchiroma and many other parties in the opposition, to denounce the current provisional results and even the proceedings that are going on at the Constitutional Council to determine whether there is validity in this election. Tchiroma has maintained that he is the one who won the election. He just issued a very lengthy statement a few minutes ago saying that he intends to continue demonstrating against what he sees as an injustice on Cameroonians and on himself. It is unlikely that there will be any more outcome from the Constitutional Council other than upholding Biya's victory. But we have had surprises in the region, in Senegal, in Kenya, in Malawi, in Seychelles. So we can still anticipate a scenario whereby the opposition may be successful. But as it stands, Tchiroma does stand to lose, and there's a likelihood that there will be possibly more protests and lack of institutional trust.
Right. So with Tchiroma rejecting these results and claiming victory, of course, for the past week, What impact could this dispute then have on Cameroon's political stability and, of course, further post-election unrest?
Well, we have started off by seeing localized unrest in opposition strongholds in Yaoundé and Douala, including in Garoua, which is Tchiroma's stronghold. Overnight, there were reports of clashes between security forces and demonstrators who rejected the outcome from the National Voting Commission, who declared that Biya was the winner. At least one person has been killed in Tchiroma's stronghold. There's likely to be more hotspots for violence. Demonstrators will probably target the premises of the governing party, the RDBC, as we saw in Chang last week, or even the premises of the Electoral Commission in different parts of the country. But also in anticipation of this, the government is heavily deploying, particularly in urban areas. There was a statement by a senior government official saying that there should be calm and people should not attempt to destabilize the country.
Yes. And how are regional bodies like the African Union and key international partners expected to respond to these contested results?
Well, Tchiroma did launch an appeal in his speech for the international community to step in. Cameroon's most immediate regional partner, the Economic Community of Central African States, is not the most politically outspoken, so it's not really likely to issue any stern statements beyond perhaps calling for calm. The African Union often does this awkward dance between sovereignty, balancing sovereignty. Cameroon has held elections. This is a checkbox for democracy, but also oversight on credentials, including the ban and freedom of protests. They're unlikely to have a major impact on internal dynamics, but then if the threat of unrest is elevated, we might see more statements coming from Cameroon's partners.
Right. Beverly, thank you very much for being with us on Firstpost Africa.
Thank you as well.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.